So my daughter's been invited out to go bike riding for the weekend with some friends. And so the job that we have is that when you transport your bike in the back of a trailer and you pull down on the straps, you need to have like a bracket that sits up in between the front wheel and in the front fork, so that when the straps get pulled down, they don't compress as you're going over bumps on the road. So to do that, they've actually designed this little bracket, and anyway, the front wheel sort of sits through underneath that, so that sits on top of the wheel, and then this little mount sits on top. But the problem that we've had with this one is that it's just a little bit too tall. So what I've done already is taken just a little bit off the bottom, and look, it's probably only about 5 mil or so. And so I've just taken a little bit off the bottom. But I also then need to take a little bit off the top, because that's not going to allow it to get any lower if I don't take any of the top. But the other challenge we have is that we have holes already screwed, and obviously holes and mounts on this. So even if I take a top off here and a little bit off the bottom here, these mounting holes will actually determine the height of that, no matter how much metal is here. So first step was to take some off of here. Second step is, as you see, I've already started taking some off of here. And the third step will then be to put some new holes in between these ones, just so we can drop it down a bit. Now it's going to be okay to be able to compress a little bit, but what you don't want is your forks compressed all the way, because that can do some damage to them apparently. Like, I don't know anything about motorbikes, actually pretty much at all. So I want to drop it down a little bit, so that will allow this to sit in comfortably. I'm more concerned that I won't be at the other end, so when my daughter tries to get it off the trailer, it was actually it was a little bit hard to do, so I had to actually really lift up on the handlebars. Now, I'm sure her friend's father will be able to do that very easily. He's been around motorbikes all of his life, so he probably won't have any problem with it at all. But I just want to make it as easy as possible for my daughter, so she can get it on off if she can on her own. So that's where we're at. So the next challenge was actually mounting this into the vise. So you can see it's just aluminium, so it's not super strong. It's as strong as it needs to be, but it's been welded because it's been bent, so it's obviously welded to get some security on it, or to get some strength to it. But if I put that into the vise, which I need to be able to cut that off, and then wind it in, I will be breaking that weld, because I'll be trying to force that together. And because it's aluminium, the vise will just compress that and bust that weld up. So what I'm doing, I've got a piece of wood either side, and that will keep the jaws of the vise away from the base, but also provide a stable platform for me to be able to cut that through. As you can see, I've already started there. So that's how it's being mounted, and that's the reason why I've got the wood there. So the next step, now that I've cut them both off, is to put a couple of extra holes in so we can drop it down just that little bit. Now, it's going to be a bit tricky because there's not a lot of gap between those, but there's just enough. But what I have done to make sure they're centered and I get them nicely in the same spot, in the same gap, is I'll put this across the back, back into its slot, and you'll notice that the holes don't line up, because that's what we don't want to. But now I want to get that there. So what I can do, and what I have done, is turned it over, and I've got another drill bit, if I can get that out, a little bit tricky with one hand, and now this drill bit is the perfect size to go into this hole. Now you've got to be careful here, because you do have threads in there, and you don't want to take those threads off, right? So because that is the same width as that hole, but we do have a center point on that, if I can get that to focus in, maybe. Yeah, there we go, look at that. That will provide a nice little divot if I put it into the hole, put some pressure on it, and push down. So what that'll do is provide me a guiding start point to start the hole. Both together there, that'll also give me the right gap between the holes as well. So we should be good to go. Now, the other thing that you do need to take into account is that I have cut them with a hacksaw. Now they do have a rough edge on them, which could cut your fingers very, very easily. You can probably see it there best. So what that will need is just a quick file. We just need a quick file, and that won't take too much work at all. My daughter's actually sitting beside me here. She's going to do that. You just got to file those burrs off on both sides and across the top, so no one's going to cut their little fingers on it when they're pulling that apart. So that's where we're up to. So there's the finished product. You can see where the new holes have gone. We've reduced it by probably about 10 mil. So dropped it to about 7 mil. Look, we probably only need to take about 5 mil out of it. So what this will now allow it to happen is this will sit on the bike. When we put the straps on, it'll compress the forks just a few mils, which is fine. I'm led to believe. It's just as long as it's not fully compressed, apparently is the bad thing. So we'll be able to compress it maybe 5 mils, maybe. And also we've got the nuts back in, the washers on, so you can't tell how badly I drilled those holes, which is probably good. And because this is the only bike that we have, this won't get adjusted for anybody else's bike. So the roughness of my drilling will be a secret forever now that I've put it out to the internet. But no, seriously speaking though, look, that looks quite neat and tidy now. And it's going to be the right height. It's going to be just about the perfect fit for the bike. So it's pretty much now customized for her bike. But obviously you can still use it for other bikes because we've got plenty of adjustment there if you have a bigger bike. So that's it. So look, there you go. Another job is done. And look, I was really happy with the way that turned out. As it worked out, look, it worked exceptionally well. Daughter went away for the weekend. It worked exactly how it was designed to work, and also how we modified it to work. So look, it was a really, really good outcome. Now look, I do realise that I haven't been putting a lot of videos up of late, especially over this year particularly. So look, I will provide an update on that fairly shortly. I'll put a video out and let everyone know what's been going on in the background. But look, apart from that, look, really happy with that end result of modifying that little bracket for my daughter's motorbike. So look, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it the big thumbs up, and until next time, thanks for watching.